Hey everybody, welcome back to Shock and Schlock. I'm your host, Trishel Gillis, and today I'm going to be talking about a film that I actually have a Blu-ray of. And not only that, it's a Blu-ray that I bought blindly because I needed $5 to get my order with free shipping. So I pre-ordered 964 Pinocchio on Right Stuff Anime. I needed $5 to get free shipping, and I was looking through, saw this cover, and I just bought it blindly because it looked and sounded awesome. That is Psycho Gothic Lolita. And before watching the film, I was looking more into it because I don't know why I blind buy things in the first place, but the special effects director is the same as Tokyo Gore Police and um, The Machine Girl. And that should give you an indication of what Psycho Gothic Lolita is. It is a neo-Japanese splatter film, and it is a hell of a time. It is a 2010 film directed by Gohara. Um, it's very simple in its premise. A young girl and her parents get their house broken into by a group of assassins who murder the mother and crucify her, which is odd. And the father's a priest, and he gets paralyzed from the waist down. And of course, the young girl vows revenge, as is in these films, and adorns herself in this gothic Lolita style costume. So, like a leather everything, like a skirt, clothes, and she has this huge hair and a hat, and carries an umbrella that has a knife at the end and a gun that comes out of nowhere. We didn't. Oh boy. Um, Plot holes. Saying there's plot holes in this film doesn't really even describe half of it. We never learn even why the assassins attacked them in the first place. And we don't learn how or why she got this costume. But it doesn't matter. Because this movie, you're not here for the story. You're here for the splatter and the fight scenes. And 75 to 80% of this film is just a fight scene. And it's incredibly fun and frenetic and bizarre. Because each of the assassins that she fights, for whatever reason, has a special power. Like there's a psychic. There's a guy with a crazy arm that can throw it around like Mr. Fantastic. There's one guy that's just a businessman, and his part is kind of darkly comical. And there's a girl that has two handguns with knives in the end, and a cell phone attached into one, and she's like all um, dressed like in kawaii fashion. It's very odd. The story, I said it previously, but is fairly unimportant. The story is pretty much just an excuse to get you in these like crazy Tokyo Gore Police mixed with Sailor Moon and yeah, fight scenes. And much like other, what I'd say, neo splatter films from Japan, like Tokyo Gore Police, um, there's not a lot of gore per se, but there's a lot of blood. Like you'll get limbs chopped off, and there's that you know what I'm talking about, the geyser of blood coming from wherever they're getting hit by or hit on. Um, yeah, a lot of that. There is some gore, nothing over the top or graphic, I would say, as far as that. But the film is over the top. Everything is crazy and frenetic, and it's shot like it feels like a live action anime, and things just sort of happen, but it doesn't matter because it's all like in favor of this crazy style. Um, it's definitely style over substance. There's not a lot of character development in anywhere. They add a little bit for the girl, but not very much. Um, she's very one note for the most part. So is her father, and it's one of the few cases that I really didn't care because the film is so nuts. It is so fun. Um, it's one of the craziest films I've seen in a long time, and it's one of the most fun films I've seen in a long time because it feels like a Saturday morning cartoon come to life, but for adults. Like it's very bloody, very adult. Um, but if you were one of those kids that grew up in like Sailor Moon and that sort of anime, this is like the adult version of that. and I really enjoyed it. My only real dislikes with the film would be that I think the special effects were kind of not necessarily on the same level as something like Tokyo Gore Police or Machine Girl, when they're coming from the same person. Didn't really bother me, but they're very cartoonish, and I think that actually kind of lends a little bit to this, like as a whole, because it's silly and it doesn't take itself seriously. But I do wish there was a little bit more done with the special effects rather than just have blood and stuff. Like Tokyo Gore Police Machine Girl had this like crazy body stuff, and I just kind of wish some of that was in here. I wish the story was a little bit more fleshed out. I think it could have even been longer. It's just under an hour and a half. I just wish they would have taken a little bit more time to flesh out who the characters were, maybe how she got her stuff. It's not something that bothered me, and I said it's all in favor of this stylized thing. But I do wish we got a little bit more info. But away from that, it was really good. The music's fun. The assassins are fun. It's just fun. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend checking this out. It's a film that I hadn't heard of previously, and that's a shame because I do really enjoy this one, and I think everybody should pick it up. It's from Media Blasters. They're doing the 964 Pinocchio Blu-ray coming out in 3 days now. They did, let's see, I believe Machine Girl on Blu-ray, if I'm not mistaken. And I know they're doing XT hair extensions, which is another one of my favorites, so that's going to be cool too. So definitely check them out too. Yeah, pick this one up on Blu-ray. It's really good. Highly recommend it. If you're into Japanese splatter, check it out. If you like stuff like Tokyo Gore Police, you're going to enjoy this, definitely. And if you're new to the genre, I think this is a good segue. It's not necessarily as graphic as a lot of those, and you can kind of dip your toes in the water and see if this is something that you'd enjoy. So, yeah. As always, though, I've been your host, Herschel Gillis, signing off for today. Make sure to keep your notifications on, subscribe if you haven't. Zero thoughts, zero editing, zero brain cells, and zero planning. I'll come back tomorrow for day 23 of my 31 days of horror reviews. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.